I've got 8 numbers here, so I'm gonna ask you to
Okay.
pick 3 of them, and then whatever questions correlate, that's where we're starting. What is your first number?
7.
If you could learn a new skill or about a different profession through a role, what would you pick and why?
I would love to get my pilot license. There's something about flying I would love to do and just actually be able to control an aircraft. I would love to do that. That would be really super cool.
All right, what is your second number?
3.
I'm very happy this is happening because it's very unusual that I record 2 episodes of Ladies Night in a single day, and usually if I say I'm gonna record with someone, I think I'm gonna jinx it and ruin it, but it's happening. The next episode recording today is with Judy Greer, and this one is called Pass a Question. So if you could pass your own question over to Judy Greer for her to answer, what would it
Oh,
be?
it's a good one. She's an old friend of mine. I haven't seen her in a minute, but what can I ask her? First of all, she's one of the most funniest people on the planet. She's hilarious. I literally can't stop watching her because she makes me laugh all the time. I guess, like, how do I bottle up some of that that comedic timing that she has? It's something that I always, struggle with, but she just makes it look so seamless.
Okay, Catherine, just call me or text me. You must still have my number. I'm not going to reveal my secrets. I will have to say, and it is kind of a cop-out answer, it's the writing.
What are we doing together to help Ukraine? Because I think that's been on my mind right now with what's happening with everything in Ukraine. So what can we do together in the community to help Ukraine?
My God, literally, again, call me, text me, whatever. I'm in. I mean, something. So that's a really good question. That is serious. Now I'm thinking about the Ukraine and I don't feel like smiling anymore. Well, we should do something. So I'm going to reach out to her.
You have one more left. What is your final
Okay.
number?
1.
Would you rather have to eat a lot in a scene or have to run a lot in a scene?
Oh my gosh, eat a lot. Eat a lot for sure. Which is always a painful thing when you choose what you want to eat sometimes, and usually soup is the best thing because then you could like still have the action and not get too full. But running, I've done running a lot in scenes too, and it's exhausting. And I'm the funniest looking runner. I'm like, I don't, some people know how to run and look good running. Not me. I look like a goof running.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Collider Ladies Night. I have one of the stars of Big Sky with me, Katheryn Winnick. Hello. Congratulations on the show. And how is New York?
New York's great. It's springtime now, so it's beautiful out. You hear the birds chirping, you see the flowers going, and everybody's out and about, especially after a long 2 years of COVID. So seems like it's picking up again.
Where did that kind of crossover happen with all of your martial arts training? Because I do imagine that was a career path that maybe you considered pursuing full force initially.
I did. My first business was running martial arts schools. I started at a Taekwondo school at the age of 16, and I had 3 by the time I was 21. And I started teaching actors martial arts on movie sets before I was an actress. So for me, it was definitely getting a chance to be on set and train actors and seeing what it's like every day and how different it could be every day and how challenging it could be. And for me, it was, I was thinking like, well, this would be the most incredible job if I can get in front of the camera. So that got me into moving to New York. So I'm back in my old hood here and now working full time.
What would you say was the key that kind of bridged the gap between being a student studying acting and starting to get the career rolling and getting opportunities?
Well, I always worked in the business. For me, even going in for, I would call them cattle calls for commercials or used to crash even auditions. If I saw a name, I remember there was a Law and Order audition. I went in for a commercial and right in the same casting office, there was a Law and Order audition and I saw the sides and I crashed it, but they were looking for an African American. So it was not the right type, but I made an impression that they brought me back. So it was my drive actually served me, because I ended up, my first US job was on Law and Order. So that helped. But I think it's just really just as an artist, especially in New York City, you know, it's great to be a broke artist because you really push yourself to try to make it.
All right. So speaking of the difficulty of it all, it's one thing to, say I want to be an actor, to to go to school and study the craft, but it's another to feel like it's a reality. So of all your earliest projects, was there anyone in particular that kind of gave you that confidence?
There were two. I did an episode on House with Hugh Laurie that my character really went toe to toe with him. It was a guest starring episode, and it was a really great experience just to be on that set. But also Vikings. Vikings for me was my platform, and getting a chance to create a character that could be loved for seasons and have it keep going. So it's one of those things where originally I was only supposed to be on for a couple of years, but the character ended up lasting for seven. But having a really strong relationship with Michael Hurst, our creator, and really developing and understanding who Lagertha is and making her who she is right now to millions of fans all around the world. And it was such a collaborative effort, and definitely didn't do it on my own, but it was nice to feel that it was a part of you, and bringing yourself with the writer and saying, okay, well, how would Katheryn Winnick react? How would Lagertha react? And really develop something to who she is.
We are jumping into Vikings as well. First,
Okay.
I did want to hit a bunch of your early romantic comedy features, though. First, in particular, 2 Weeks Notice, because correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe it was one of your very first big Hollywood sets that you were ever on. So, what kind of expectations did that experience set for you as far as, what it might be like in the future in terms of how big studio projects operate?
2 weeks notice. I shot that in New York. It was definitely really early on in my career. It was great just to be doing a scene opposite. It was Hugh Grant and Sandra Bullock, um, and I love that, just seeing the all the energy, seeing, especially shooting it in the middle of the city of in New York City. It's just a whole energy. Everyone stops and looks, and the energy of the city, here, working here and seeing the crew members, and getting a chance to go to your local coffee shop right next door and then go to work is always amazing. But it set the bar pretty high.
So it was that, I think, 51st States, Failure to Launch, Killers, Night and Day. There's so many more there. Was there anything about romantic comedies in particular that drew you to them, or was it just a matter of what was coming your way by chance?
At that point, truthfully, it was what was, coming my way. It was, you start off, you take every job you can get, and that those are all early in my career, projects that I did, and it was just taking what I can get. I think 51st Dates, I think my arm was in it. I don't even think I made the cut. Failure to Launch, I played Matthew McConaughey's girlfriend in bed. I remember that scene. That was really awkward because the first day I met him, we had to spend 7 hours under hot lights in bed, which was always a strange thing. But it gave me, a platform to realize this is the business, and this is how you get more and more comfortable as you're on set each and every time. Even there's no such thing as a bit part. Really, there isn't. You just try to make every part as impactful as you possibly can.
Were you at all surprised that when you first jumped into acting that you weren't immediately like snatched up by the action realm of the industry because you had the built-in skill set?
I actually shied away from it at the beginning. I really did, only just because I wanted to build credits as much as I can as an actress. When I first came in the business, I told everybody, "Oh, I'm a martial artist." And at that point, you don't do both. Like, you're an actor or you're a martial artist or you do stunts. Like, you don't really do both. Now it's a little different, but a lot of times people had a hard time taking me seriously. And truthfully, at that point, there wasn't that many good female written characters for action films. It was mostly the guys, and they've always said a woman can't carry a movie, which is so wrong, and we all know that. But Hollywood, and even still to this day, there's still resistance that there could be a strong female action star. But hopefully we prove them wrong with some great Marvel movies, and also Lagertha. Clearly, I did all my own stunts there, so and there's a lot more female fan base now that want to see a woman kick ass.
How have you not been cast in a superhero movie at this point? I just like my brain
I,
cannot compute it.
I'm unavailable. I have no time. But of course, if they're calling me, I'll figure something out.
What were the nerves for you like leading up to the Big Sky premiere? Because you had just come off of the hugely popular Vikings, you're working on a David E. Kelly show, anticipation was sky high. Do you go in nervous to no end, or is there confidence because you have this incredible team around you?
I don't know if I was nervous. I was probably nervous signing up for years but when David Kelly calls you, you listen. And when he asks you to be on the show, you you take note. um but I think, the show, we're finding our way in terms of storyline, and we have the format of the show is we get new actors every 9 episodes, which is always a lot of fun and keeps things moving. So we have an opportunity to work with some great talented cast members, and I'm excited also to get a chance to direct it as well, so which I'll be doing this year.
So you haven't done that yet, but you're gonna.
Next year I'm going to be doing it. Yes.
Makes me
Yes.
so incredibly happy
Mhm.
to hear that. Going back to some of the cast, just because I can't touch on everybody in this minimal time we have. So, for anyone in the Big Sky Ensemble, whose process would you say aligns with yours the most? Where the second you got on set, you were totally in sync and everything was smooth. But then, who's someone who challenged you to adapt the most and maybe try something new and for the better?
Oh, that's a very good question. I think Logan Marshall Green is we have the same kind of acting style. We're both pretty intense um and a little bit of a little, I wouldn't say, maybe a little bit of method, in sense if we're having a tough scene, it's just, you're gonna get that energy is gonna be consistent until we finish the scene. Um but in terms of pushing me as things I wouldn't expect, I think it would be from directors, truthfully, just ones that kind of see things a little differently, and come up with different notes. And what's great, we have a great female directors that are phenomenal, and it's amazing, especially a women driven show, is to be directed by a woman. And we have some phenomenal women directors that keep coming back.
I can talk about the value of a good scene partner all day long. So, with Kylie in particular, because that was a big deal for me when I first started Big Sky. I started a little late and I'm like, why is everyone so obsessed with this show? The two of you together are such like an infectious force that I can't get enough of. So, is there anything that she did for you on set as a scene partner that you really appreciated and maybe helped you tap into something in your own character that you wouldn't have been able to without her?
Kylie is very present. She's we couldn't be in a way completely different and opposites in terms of our characters, Jenny Hoyt and Cassie Dewell. And she brings a certain lightness into her delivery, which is always good for Jenny to find the lighter moments. And I'm excited just to see more and see what else we have. She just had a baby, so she hasn't been on set as much, but she just got back. So, and we shot a lot of her episodes this year early on, and we added it into it, so you don't see her missing. But she just got back from maternity, and she's a cute little baby boy.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah,
You're getting like a whole lot of Dewey today. He just very much, I don't know if you could hear this, but he does
I
not
do.
stop talking throughout your interview.
Yeah, it's all good.
So, I did want to ask you about the showrunner change and how that impacts your work in the day to day. So, of course, David Kelly is still involved, but in season two, you've got Elwood Reed taking over as showrunner. So, how does that change the way that things operate on set for you? And is there anything about season two that just kind of stands out in that respect that you think is making the whole company grow and make an even better show going forward?
Yeah, Elwood is a phenomenal showrunner. He's someone who's very involved in the scripts. Um, David Kelly started it, as we all know, and he passed the torch over to Elwood. So it feels like a completely different show in a lot of ways, just because the my showrunner now is Elwood, and I speak with him about my character, or I work with. He's also very open about script changes, and I work with the writers directly to make Jenny's voice her own. And he's very open to all of that. And we've moved the entire show from Vancouver to Albuquerque, so we had to get a whole new DP and camera crew and everything, and so it definitely feels completely different than it did the first year.
Thank you so much for your
Thank
time
you so
today,
much.
Katheryn, and for walking us through some of your filmography. Huge congratulations on everything you accomplished. And to anyone out there who is not caught up on Big Sky, like, I guess I'm sorry in advance for doing this to you, but every episode that's already aired is streaming on Hulu. And when I tell you it is a breeze and thrill of a binge, I'm not lying. So do the binge and then catch up with the episodes airing now. Congratulations.
Thank you.